Hi, everyone. I just wanted to come online and say thank you for thinking about taking information from your astrological wheel that includes beautiful stars and moving it into a Star Merkaba working with Metatron's cube. How exciting to get support for this most auspicious time. The Merkaba, is a beautiful, the thought is to have a solar light vehicle. It ties in with some of the Egyptian, the solar ark or the boat that pharaohs would ride back into the netherworlds. So when we want to go more into quantum, having a Merkaba, which come in many different shapes and different geometries, with our natal stars. And this is as much as the mind wants to know, what does this mean? What does that mean in our natal charts? Not to worry, that will come. But for a fun art project, I really want to encourage each of us to consider bringing through our inner child to sit on our lap and basically guide our heart center, because it's this idea of what does it feel like to engage with 12 stars where I already have soul connections. Remember, conjunctions, we've already merged our energies with these stars. They're family. Okay, so an example would be look at this star, Acrux. It's from the Southern Cross. So there's the music and the song of the Southern Cross. I can invite Acrux if this star would like to join me on one of the 12 spheres in my 2026 Star Merkaba. If I just even handwrite the name Acrux and I just later print this out and write 12 stars down, what does it feel like? Let's see, Acrux could perhaps be my January star, or I go into a deeper dive on what does it feel like to engage with family from this constellation of Crux with the star named Acrux. So this is much more of a fun art project to invite you into the dance of what is it to co-create and move into the other realms, the other dimensions. We understand when we get off the 3D world of duality, polarity, yin yang, division and duality, contrast, okay, without judgment. When we step into the higher realms, we're learning that, like the angels, it's a much more of a collective being. We find our collective family and selves. Another way to look at it is this idea of merging with my higher self in my 3D self. How do I bridge the gap in between? And you can almost imagine placing the Star Merkaba above your head chakra and working more galactically by engagement. It all begins with a heart's desire for engagement and then the heart's intention. Yes, I'd like to learn more. I want to feel into my star families, one at a time or all together. If you, like me, have had like someone poking you during meditation and you want to find out who that was, knowing the name is a great way to start. So it's some of this is childlike surprise and wonder, and yes, make believe. But it is through our keen imaginations as being human, and fully divine, these sparks of inspiration can come forward. Okay, so without further ado, this video is really to clarify and just share with you what I know about an online program called CANVA. Now, in full disclosure, I am a painter. I work in my art studio. I like paint and brushes. So I'm not a graphic designer. However, being part of the Quantum Soul Guidance Practitioners Group, I've called upon my friends and colleagues like Sumati and Brandy, Kelly Brett, Sabrina, and others to help me understand, is there a piece to this that working with CANVA that can bring me closer to a visual awareness of my star families? So you can just print out your Merkaba, do old school, just write names, collage anything that might come to be in color. But this video is really about, let's see if you want to learn CANVA. It's not a must do. It's just if you want to play, I'm making this video available. Okay, thanks for listening. Here we go. Okay, so this is the My Star Family Merkaba 2026 support crew. This is a live Canva link that I've sent to everyone in the class, but I've also uploaded it to the Ascension Playground under post. So under community posts. So this live link, if you click on it, you can just very easily just print the first page. This is the first page. If you don't want to do anything online, you just want to print out a Metatron's cube, here's one for you. And then you just hand draw in each of these 12 spheres a name of your stars. In the center, you can put a picture or just even handwrite your name to begin your journey in support crew for 2026. Okay, so that's very low tech. It's so simple, anyone can do it. You just print out the first page. Now, the second page gives more instructions. Okay, it says Star Merkaba directions. Coming up with your 12 stars. That's the fun part, okay? And so, as I've shared before, if you look at your stars, the fixed stars that are associated with your natal birth moment, your natal chart, just make a list of 12. Now, some of you are asking, well, what if I have like one of the super cosmic points or have all four of them, like the galactic center, the super galactic center, the great attractor, and the Shapley supercluster? You're more than welcome to work with them, but they're not really stars. They're points of like Stargate portals. But if you want to engage with them, that's fine. I would put them or encourage you to put them on the outer wheel. But to engage with 12 stars in the heavens, this is the opportunity to engage. There's like almost like a certain physical beingness there in the 12 stars. The second step is to print out the image of that Metatron's cube. All right. And then the third step, adding your image as a child to the center sphere. The fourth step would be figuring out where each of your 12 stars wants to go. And if you're like me, I'm going to get 12 sticky notes and I'm going to call in the 12 star families, do a little meditation, and I'm going to feel into them. And then on a 12 sticky notes, I'm going to say, who would like to be at the top of the Merkaba? In other words, I'm going to go up here and say, who would like, Henny Penny, who would like to help me this year to bake my cake? So I'm going to say, who wants to be at the top sphere? And I'll choose one of the sticky notes and stick it here. Who would like to be on the outer six? And then there's 6 who are in the inner aspect of the Metatron's cube. And then I'll put myself in the center. So whether you're on the outer or the inner, all 12 spheres are connected. Okay, so they all touch one another and they're going to work like nodal axes and send their energy to one another throughout the year. So in some ways, this is your galactic support crew that's working and sending energy all to the center, which is you. So the fifth step is yes, as I just mentioned, invite the 12 stars to co create with you, even just creating this fun art project. Step 6 is the rest is up to you. You have your own process for tuning in. You can stop and say, okay, I wrote down the 12 names. That's all I'm going to do. Others may say, well, I love crystals. I'm going to encourage 12 crystals to help me ground with the stars. So bringing stars and stones together in my journey in 2026. Others may say, I'm going to choose 12 flower essences, or I'm going um, to write down 12 archangels, or I'm going to write 12 um, words or names of God along with my stars. So the rest is up to you. Okay. There's nothing to fear. This is your star family. So again, a reminder, Merkaba or Merkaba is Hebrew for chariot. This is your solar light vehicle. Who wants to go on the journey with you as you start tuning in and feeling into the quantum realms? My friend Lori Cameron is offering a class that's starting in February on how to do remote viewing. And she's already had an epiphany where her 3D self is working with her higher self, and they've merged into an avatar self. And so she's working with her Palladian star family to help bring forward remote viewing classes. If you're interested, I put a post in the community page of the Ascension Playground. And then this page, page 4, this is where we really start working with the live link. See these little circles where you actually have a graphic of a cloud? This is where I want to have you join me for those of you interested in Canva. Now you can see Sabrina, she created this template maybe 2 years ago with a person sitting behind it. So if you do yoga, if you want to work with your chakras, this is about engagement. So there's that image to choose from, or there's this image to choose from. This is more, okay, I just want my 12 spheres and I want them all touching each other. And it's in Metatron's cube. Okay. Page 6 puts a circle around it. Okay. So this idea that the container for all that is, we're at the center, we're the dot in the circle of all that is. So there's some ancient wisdom to putting the circle around the Merkaba. And then this is the graphic that I wanted to show you. This is the link. So look, I can move my little images or change them. This is the beauty of Canva. Now you're going to see some kind of interesting imagery. I've added, let's see, this is the star nursery mother goose that I have at the top. This is reminding me of the star Deneb Adijay, this beautiful swan. But I brought in the storyteller of Mother Goose nursery rhymes at the top of my chart. All right. And just to share with you, this is what I did for last year. It gets even more interesting. Let's see if I can scroll down. So this is my 2025 Star Merkaba. It was the year of the wood snake. So I brought in snake imagery. That also is calling up one of the stars that I work with, Hydra, in Hydra constellation, and the star is Alphard. So when we have visual imagery, it helps remember the engagement with the stars. If I look around this, I've got Orion. These little pieces of crystals are to remind me this is the belt star. Okay, this is a super galactic point in my chart. This is Cetus, the sea monster, another galactic point. And here I am in the center. Okay, so I have just opened up the My Star Merkaba 2026 support crew. And I've decided I want to um, work with this particular layout, the one with the circle around it, two circles around it. All right. So since this is already put in, I might start with a background first. Now, Canva can give you a free trial. It doesn't give you all the bells and whistles. So I might be using some that perhaps you don't see if you don't subscribe to Canva. I do a pro version. Anyway, I find it very useful. And every year I go, okay, I'll keep playing with it. So on this left-hand side bar, you see the word background? I clicked on that and I can choose a background. And let's say I want to choose the stars. So I have this highlighted. I go to background and then I click on stars. So if I chose that background, I'm going to lose the lines from my image. And so when I click my mouse on the image itself, the whole to get this purple square, I go up here where it says color. See that black circle with my finger pointing? And if I go over here to the color white, it brings back all the lines. I could do a gold pattern. That looks pretty good. Let me stick with gold. So let me reiterate, okay? And I'm clicking out. I first went to do my background. Oh, and I'm realizing I lost all the words on the top of this chart. So I'm going to make the color for the header. Let me put that in white. All right. So again, I know there's a lot of clicking happening on my side. The idea is I'm showing you how I use Canva. I am not a Canva teacher, but if I want to move my words around this little icon, I can move it up or down, and I can even I can personalize it. And I'm just going to type in my name, Ursula. After I took out the word my. And if I want to highlight all of this top bar and make it a different color, I go up here to the rainbow A and I can choose any color that I want to make my name. So in this case, let me go ahead and stick with gold. Okay, so I click around and then I can see Ursula Star Family Merkaba. Say I want to make that type bigger, the font size. I just go up here. Right now it's at 26 fonts, and the name of the font is Chinzel Decorative. I just go click and I make it bigger with the plus sign. I can make the type smaller with the minus sign. All right. And if I don't like that particular type of font, I can click on Chinzel Decorative. And look, I've got a whole host of other types of fonts to use. Let me just change it so that you can see what I'm talking about. How about Alice? Let's just change it to Alice. Don't really like that look. How about League Spartan for the type font? Don't really like that either. So you just keep clicking until you find something. Here's a real scripty one. Can't really read that. I think I'm going to go back to Chinzel, right? So I'm going to go here. Here's Chinzel. And I'm going to, if I want it bold, I hit bold. And I think I noticed I forgot to do a capital U. So there we go. So I've got my background. Remember, I can just click on the background and I scroll to the left under background. And I can choose any kind of background, right? Look at how much this gives us. I'm going to show you a couple examples. All right, how about this one? So I can just scroll down. Now, the fascinating thing, and this requires whenever you see a little crown, The magic background requires a membership. So I don't want to get too fancy schmancy with that. But if you are really serious about wanting to create graphics for yourself, um, take the free pro version as far as you can go. Now, I kind of like this, my Merkaba being above the clouds, but now my type font is a little too light. So I'm going to get this rectangle identified. I'm going to hit A for the color. And what if I just go to a purple, a deep blue? Yeah. So now it changed everything. Ursula, and I want to put a possessive S, Ursula's Star Family Merkaba. And I'm going to put my 2026 support crew. All right. So I've got the background, I've got the font. If I think the font is still too big, I can highlight, drag, and make it smaller. There we go. All right. But the real fun part is how to put in the link I sent, the Canva link, how do I put images in these little circles, these 12 spheres? I'm going to start with the 13th sphere. All right. And this is the interesting part. There's something called uploads. See way over here to the left again? Uploads. I'm going to click on uploads. You're going to see all these files that I have uploaded. Let's say I'm starting fresh. All right. Well, let me go with the easy way. Say you already know how to upload an image, and I can scroll down. These are all the wheels I uploaded. I'm going to scroll down and I find myself. So here's a little picture. And Canva puts, this is an AI generated image of yours truly when I was 5 years old. So let's see, what I do is I take my arrow, I grab my picture, all right, and do you see how I'm putting it into the center circle? And if I didn't put it in the center, it can go into any of the other spheres. I hope you can see this in the video. You might have to take a careful look. All right, but I'm going to put it in the center. I'm going to release. So I'm working with a mouse, so old-fashioned mouse. So that's how I'm moving images around. You'll have to figure out how to do it yourself. But if you want to understand how to upload a file to get your own picture in there, let's see, you hit upload file, and then it brings you to your computer. Okay, I'm going to open this up a little more. So if you put images for you to upload on your desktop, you can navigate, because I hit the word upload, and you can have a whole little folder on, art or interesting images for your Star Merkaba. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on the image of Pegasus. I'm going to hit open. And do you see this little area? It's got, when the circle is completely blue, it'll say uploads. So I'm going to look in my images, go back to the top, and there's Pegasus right here. So I'm going to click on Pegasus as a file that I just uploaded. I see that the horse has been magically put in the center of my Merkaba. Now I'm going to click on it and I can move it to any of these spheres. See, I don't like it there. What if I want it closer to me? Oops. Don't want to move the whole sphere. So I guess I would just click on it. Anyway, I don't want to get too deep into how to do this because I don't want to confuse anybody and I don't want to become the Canva expert. So much of what I learned came from YouTube and Googling, tell me how to work with basic Canva procedures. Okay, so here's another fun thing that Sumati showed me when I was learning about CANVA. And that is you scroll up, see this gray bar over here, scroll up to the word elements. So I click on elements. And if I want to search the element, it means you can have any kind of graphic. So let's say the next one I want to look for is the ring nebula. So I type in ring nebula and I'll put Lyra to see if it can find it. Typed in the word, and then I click the purple arrow, like go find it. And here's the pointer to help. When we work with this bringing images from our graphics into our Star Merkaba, I would recommend sticking with either graphics or photos. So in photos, let's see all. All right. So wherever you see this little white crown, it means you have to have the paid program. But you're going to see a lot of other ones available that don't have the crown. Okay, so there's going to be some that are for free. And here's a free one of the Lyra Ring Nebula. So I'm going to click on it with my mouse. I'm going to drag it. Now I'm showing you a different way. Drag it over to a sphere. And I'm going to release my mouse. Okay. So another way is just click on this image. We're going back to that image. Click on it. It sticks it in the center. And then you have to click and drag it where you want it. I'm going to just stick it back there. All right. How exciting is that? What if I wanted to find, I'm back on elements, a picture of a dragon to remind me of the constellation Draco? All right. So I hit that purple arrow, the word, it's just dragon. And yeah, which one is going to hold the energy of dragon for me as it relates to Draco? And this is where the fun begins. There's so much in their elements library to choose from. All right, let me just choose this graphic. I clicked on it, it's in the center. Now, guess what? It's not facing the way I want it to face. So I go up here to the word flip. See everybody at the top now. I hit flip and I'm going to hit horizontal. Flip horizontal. Do you see what it did? It put it in a direction for me. And now I'm going to grab this image and place it in one of my spheres. Okay, I notice that it's not exactly in the circle like I want it, so I can click the circle and key it in there a little bit. I know I can move it around with my up and down arrows too. All right. Do you see how I brought in Pegasus? I brought in the Lyra Ring Nebula, and I brought in Draco. Let's try a different one. What if I wanted to say Orion is, let's say, one of the constellations? I'm just going to hit Orion in the purple arrow. I'm searching in photos. So I've got this image. See, I didn't like that one. Let me click on this one. All right, so I like this one better, but to get rid of the previous one, I'm going to have to identify it. So it's got the white balls right at the corners. I've identified it. Then I'm going to hit my delete button. So I got rid of that image because I want to work with this one. And I think because I have Orion at my midheaven and some of those belt stars, I put him at the top. That's what it felt like. Now, but there's more here. So when I go back and I search, this is the Orion Ring Nebula. Now, it's not going to tell you that in CANVA, but from the research or Google searching that you do with the stars, you kind of start getting a sense of these. Now, this is a star nursery. And for me, I associate with that because when I create, I don't just do one, I do a batch. So that star nursery down here at the root is part of my foundation. That's how I'm engaging with this. Okay, let's get one more image here going. See who else wants to play in 2026. Again, you have your list of 12 and you can start searching. Let's see. Someone asked me about how I found the whale image. And I'm just going to type in the word whale and I'm going to hit the purple arrow. See, right away, I'm getting images of whale. Yes, that are paid. But when you don't see the little crown, they're free. Look at all these whale images. So if you have Cetus, the sea monster, the constellation Cetus with the star named Tau Ceti in your natal chart, you can come find a whale to put into one of your spheres. Look at all these beautiful whales. Okay, here's something fun that I think I want to share with you. All right, so what if I wanted to put the whale's tail? Okay, but it's obviously I don't need all this imagery here. So to crop it, do you see I'm going to grab one of these sidebars. See right here, this little arrow, I make it come in and I can grab one of these little white circles on a corner. I can make it smaller. But I don't really want all that background. So the beautiful thing with Canva, when you get a paid subscription, BG remover is background remover, but it does require a paid, I think, membership. And I'm going to crop it. So when you pull a center image, like these handlebars in the center of the square, it helps you crop. And then I drag it down into one of my spheres. So Tau Ceti is going to remind me of the sea monster. So there's my whale. But if I'm working with the belly of the whale, I might want a picture of the whole whale, not just the tail. So let's go find a better image for the whale. So you get the idea. Magic is recommending I use this whale. Okay, that way the whale is actually looking at me. Now I have 6 of my 12 stars engaging me for support. All right, so what happens when I'm all done? In Canva, let's say I just wanted to print this out. There is a file and download. Let's say I just want to download this to my desktop, and then I'll make print a copy of that later. Well, I'm going to open my screen. When you hit download, this is the page you're going to see. First, I want to save it as a JPEG. All right. Then this gives me the size that I want to save it in, the quality of the image. I don't want to print all 8 pages, so I use this downward facing arrow. I click on that, and I just want to print the current page, okay, as a JPEG. Got the current page. I'm going to hit done, and then I'm going to hit download. And it gives me the name, and I'm going to hit save. And I notice it's going in my download folder. So I hit save. It does the job. I go search for my downloads. I scroll down, hit download. Here it is. Let me click on it. And this is what I have so far. And whatever program you have to print, this is where you can click the icon for printer, etc. Or if you don't want to print out on paper, you can just leave it. You could put it on top of your desktop as a screensaver. But I would recommend filling out all 6 or all 12 stars or spheres. Okay, everybody, that was a very slow roll. This is how Ursula works with Canva. Again, you don't have to use the software program, but it is kind of fun. Okay, everybody, I hope you enjoyed that little mini intro into how I work with Canva to bring my 12-star families into a Merkaba, taking my astrology wheel and having it come to life in a visual aid that can guide me over the course of the next 12 months. Hope this is helpful to you. If so, send me a comment. This was just a taste test. But on Google, there's so many like great videos on how to work with Canva using that link that I sent to you. Okay, everybody, have a wonderful and beautiful day. I'll see you next time in my YouTube channel called The Ascension Playground. Bye for now.